Hey, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Thank you for watching. I am here with the man, the myth, the legend. I can go on with his awards. I can go on about his accolades. But if you're here watching, you already know what time it is. We don't need to do that. So let me just introduce the man. Kamau Kenyatta himself is in the building. And if I was in a room, I'd say everybody give it up. But it's just the two of us. Mr. Kenyatta, how are you?
I'm doing great today. Great to see you, man.
You too, man. You too. Now, for everybody watching, I was a former student of his at UCSD. I took his jazz classes in the music department. If you happen to be watching and you are attending UCSD now, I highly recommend you take his class. He's one of the best teachers you'll ever come across. He had his Distinguished Teaching Award. I forget the exact title of it, but it just goes to show you, you won't regret it. You got to go check it out for sure. For sure, for sure.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
But we are here to talk about your latest album that you dropped, The Elegant Sadness. It just came out recently, right?
Yes, the official release was Friday, last
Okay,
Friday,
nice.
the
How
6th.
the 6th of
Yeah.
September. Nice. And how was the music originated? Where did this all come from?
Well, it came from my relationship with Gregory Porter. Some great filmmakers in the UK decided to do a documentary on Gregory, and they came to me to do the original music for the score. So when there's music in the score that's not by him, it's by me.
Got it. Got it. And what is the documentary titled?
Don't forget your music.
And where does the title come from?
Oh, there's a beautiful backstory concerning the title. There was a time in his life where he was trying to consider his next move when he was a young man in college. He had a promising career as an athlete, and I believe he experienced a very serious injury. And so he was kind of figuring out which way to turn. And his mother told him, don't forget your music. And that's lucky for all of us because now we have all of his great songs and his incredible voice.
That's what's up. Moms are always coming through in the clutch.
That's right, and mine still does for me. I'm proud to say
Yeah.
that at 64 years old.
Shout outs to mom. Shout outs to mom. Now, tell me about the musicians you work with because the music is so cohesive. It just seems like you have such a good relationship with your musicians.
Yeah, that's true. Many of the musicians on the album I have long-term relationships with. I could start by talking about Richard Sellers, the great drummer, and he's been there for me for many, many years since I first arrived in San Diego in the early '90s. And other collaborators include the great trumpet player, world-class musician Curtis Taylor, Mackenzie Layton, who's more recent to kind of my fold. But the first time I heard this guy play bass, I was like, okay, that's what I want to hear from the bass, right? Uh,
Nice.
David Castaneda playing percussion, a former student like yourself. It's one of the big perks of teaching that you get to meet talented and wonderful young people like yourselves. Brian Clancy on saxophone, amazing lyrical tenor saxophonist, and it goes without saying, Hubert Laws, someone who I grew up listening to, really idolizing, the undisputed king of the flute and jazz, and he's also a great classical player as well. And I'm very lucky to count him as the collaborator and friend.
Yeah. Tell what was it like to have, or what's the feeling like to have somebody like Hubert be down to play on your project?
Well, it's a great honor, and I can say that when I was 12 years old, I remember listening to Flute Bylaw, some of his early albums on the Atlantic label, and now more than 50 years later, I still feel that like that little kid who's listening in awe when every time I hear him play. I honestly don't think of myself as a peer. When I work with him, I'm always that same 12-year-old. Yeah,
Once a fan, always a fan, man.
that's right.